Yes. Okay, here what I'm saying is the temperature rise of the motor. So at the initially, the rise of your temperature is very high at the time of at initial loading. So keep on running position. The heat is going to be decreased, and at a point it is going to be in a steady state. So at that point, whatever the heat developed is equals to the heat dissipation. So at the steady point, the whatever the heat produced and the heat dissipation is going to be equal at that point. So here the amount of before this I have discussed this rise in temperature is mainly depending upon the following two factors. That is amount of heat developed internally at the uniform rate and this. So this is the thing I am saying that uh, at that point that heat produced is going to be equal to the heat dissipation. So here one point we have to note. We are going to keep on just a minute. Okay. Here, so if you keep on increasing the load, then what will happen? The heat is going to be increased. So at up to the maximum limit, the heat is going to be increased. After the limit has reached, then what will happen? So when the temperature raises its permissible limit, beyond the permissible limit, then the windings are going to be burned out, and the motor is going to be short circuited and be shut down. So that's why we are going to consider the rise of the your temperature of your motor is a very essential and important factor to be considered while choosing your motor. So, so before the calculation of your heating is, we have considered some assumptions. So we have made some assumptions while calculating the heat for your particular application of the drive. So here some of the assumptions I have made here, that is the heat develop. So the losses remains constant during the temperature range. So second assumption, the heat dissipation, which is directly proportional to the difference in the temperature of motor and cooling medium. So that is this proportionality or the process that depends on the Newton's law of cooling. So here, see, I have shown in the figure here, whatever the temperature. So the graph, the chart shows on x-axis we have considered the time, on y-axis it considered as the temperature of degree centigrade. So for electrical equipments, we need compulsory. We need some cooling equipments, coolants, because while in the running position, in every machine, some losses will occur. Due to that losses, a heat is going to be dissipated. So to cool down that heat, whatever is going to be occur in the machines, we need a coolant. So here some of the coolants we have used for the different purposes. For example, if you consider a transformer, so I think all of you know very well regarding a transformer. So a coolant which is an air cooled or an oil cooled, oil is in a medium which is used to circulate around the windings. So that is a thing is going to be acts as a coolant, is going to be acts as a coolant to cool the temperature of your machine or an equipment while in the running position. So here also that coolant, that cooling, how what is the heat dissipation with respect to time is going to be considered the difference between the temperature of your motor and the cooling medium. So that is depends upon your law of, we have considered this Newton's law of cooling. So here it has written the rate of change of temperature is proportional to the temperature difference. Okay. So the third one is the temperature of cooling medium remains unchanged. Yes, it is very good assumption, because while from starting to the ending during our application in a particular drive, by using the particular drive, whatever the cooling medium we have used is not going to change until the end of your application. And the last one is the motor is assumed to be homogeneous mass and having same uniform temperature in all parts. It implies high thermal conductivity. Yes, right. So you have to maintain all the parts. What is the core, windings, stator, rotor, all those things. Whatever the equipments or the parts you are going to use for your drive or your particular application, there all the parts should maintain the uniform temperature. So that's why we have made this assumption. So these are the some of the assumptions we are going to consider while calculating your heat temperature rise in your motor. So let us start our derivation. So how it is going to be calculated the maximum temperature rise of your motor. Yes. See. So for the expression further, at always we are going to consider the temperature with respect to time. Whatever the temperature has produced in the machine during the loading conditions, so we are going to consider with respect to times. That's why here see, for the determination of expression of temperature rise, SC. Here we have taken some of the terms like Q is nothing but total heat generated by motor per unit time in joules per second, or the unit has been considered as watt. And C is the thermal capacity, T is the temperature rise, theta is the temperature rise, and theta m is the maximum temperature, and lambda is the rate of heat dissipation from the cooling surface. So here, whatever we have discussed in the previous slide, so here it is going to be uh, holds the law of Newton's law of cooling. So that is nothing but the temperature difference between the temperature difference between the, let me take the pen. The difference between the temperature and the cooling medium. So it is going to be taken as a one assumption. So here that is going to be within a term lambda. So here we used in one formula that is depending upon the rate of heat generation in the motor. Now we are going to calculate. Yes, this is the thing we are going to calculate. How much the heat is going to be generated in the motor. So earlier, just few words back, I have told the heat, whatever the raise is going to be happen in the in the motor is depending upon your time. So the rate indicates the rate is nothing but the time. So the time, the heat generation is depends upon the time. So the rate of heat generation in the motor, how it is going to be calculated? So heat dissipation from the cooling medium and heat absorption by the motor. So the sum up of these two terms gives your heat generation. So at any time, you consider we are here, we are taking at any time t. Small t is your time, and the t is the theta is the temperature. So after some time, that is the dt, the change in time is considered as if you so here let's see, t is your time, the temperature is theta, the change in time is considered as dt, and the change in temperature is considered as d theta. So when it happens, the when the motor is in the loading conditions, when we keep on load the motor, the temperature, the time is going to be changed. And by pass on the time, that temperature is going to be changed. So it is shown by d theta. The change of time is shown by dt taken as. So we are now considering with respect to change in time, the equations has been taken. So whatever the rate of change of q, that's nothing but q dt t, q dt, rate, the change in time. So the rate of heat generation in motor is nothing but qdt equals to heat dissipation, that is a lambda theta into dt. Please note down the equations while I'm explaining, so it will be easy for you. Here the A indicates the area of surface of your motor. A indicates your area of surface of your motor. So A into lambda into theta into dt plus C into dt, C into d theta. So here C represents your thermal capacity of your motor. Here we have taken C as a thermal capacity of the motor. So by solving these, please note down. So Q minus A, I am going to take d theta dt, that is time, change in time terms to one side and change in temperature to the one side. So from these, I am going to calculate the dt. So from this, dt is equals to, we got that C d theta by, oh sorry, here we are not going to have any dt. Here you are not going to have any dt. So just typing mistake. So here we are going to take dt as the common. So here dt into q minus a lambda theta is equals to c d theta. So from this equation, d theta is equal to c dt theta by q minus a lambda theta. So up to this point is the equation. So now by integrating on both the sides, by integrating the on both the sides, now we are going to have the value of t, that is your time. You can calculate the time, that is nothing but c by a lambda into logarithm of q minus a lambda t theta. So this is the equation plus constant, some k constant. Now we will see what is that constant. Here see, where k is the taken as integration constant, and it is obtained from the condition that when we have taken the t equals to 0 in this, from this equation, t is equal to c by a lambda logarithm of q minus a lambda theta plus k. When you here you have considered the, to calculate this k, that is nothing but an integration constant, what we are going to have. So we are considering the t equals to 0 and making the theta is an initial temperature theta naught. So that is in general we have, if we consider, we will have the value of k. So but while in the practical, we just started at the time t is equal to 0, and that means at no load condition. At the time of starting, that is nothing but a no load condition. So what will happen? See, if you have replaced the t equals to 0 in the above condition and making the this t as a 0, and going to be calculate the k value. So here this is the k value. So you have got the k value. Please don't make any annotations. Number 247. So here this is the k value. So after calculating the k value, that is nothing but constant, integration constant. So place this k value in your previous value. If you consider this is 1a value, so t is equal to c by a logarithm of ln q minus a lambda theta plus, what is the value of k? This is c by a lambda ln. By simplifying, you are going to get the final value of the t. So now here you have calculated the time value. From this equation, by knowing the values of c, a, lambda and q, theta naught is nothing but your initial temperature. So while doing the problems, he will inform the temperature of your initial temperature of your motor at the time of starting. So here we have considered the no load condition. That's why we have taken the temperature as 0 and the starting time is at 0 position. So from this, we are now going to calculate the value of temperature rise. Now we are going to calculate the temperature rise theta. So these are the some of the steps we have seen here, and by solving each and every step and having, so this is your value of your temperature rise. So just simply sending this term from right hand side to the left hand side and logarithm of applying the logarithms. So we are going to have this equation. From this equation, you are going to calculate the value of temperature theta. So this temperature theta, so some of the constant terms are going to be replaced with some of the terms, that is theta m, that is nothing but maximum temperature rise, and theta naught is the initial temperature rise. So this theta m is nothing but q by a lambda, and tau, this is tau is nothing but c by a lambda. So here the final equation what we have by considering initial temperature and final temperature, Ti and Tf. So at the time of starting, we have considered theta is equal to theta naught, and at the final temperature, the maximum temperature rises theta m. So the final equation has been written as theta is equal to theta m into 1 minus e power minus t by tau. Tau is nothing but c by a lambda plus theta naught into e power minus t by tau. So where this tau is nothing but your heating time constant, which is measured in seconds. Please remember this tau or t. Here what we have seen, make it as this t or tau is taken as heating time constant. So from this equation also, if you know the initial temperatures and final temperatures, maximum temperature and initial temperature rise, and the total temperature of your motor, so by solving or by rearranging this equation, you can calculate the heat time constant tau from this equation. So if you had a condition, or if you consider at the time of starting, so in practical we have taken this theta, whatever the temperature of your motor at the time of starting is 0. So if you consider this point and make this theta is equals to 0 at the time of starting, that is nothing but theta naught is nothing but an initial time, initial temperature at the time of starting, that is making 0. If you consider at the time of start, if you 0, then the final equation remains theta is equal to theta m into 1 minus e power minus t into t by tau, that heating time constant. You can, in some of the textbook or some of the materials, you can refer, you will see this t can be written as th, that is nothing but heating time constant. You can write it as tau or t, th, that it does not matter, but the indication represents is nothing but a heating time constant. So this is the theta is equal to theta m into 1 minus e power minus t by tau. So this is the temperature you can measure at the maximum raise, with the maximum raise. So see, this is your heating time constant, how the characteristics are appears while in increase on time, that depending upon the loading conditions. loading conditions. So this is the point. This is the maximum point theta m, maximum temperature rise. At this point, what is going to be happen when it has been steady state, when it is in the at the steady point, the heat generated is going to be equal to heat dissipation. Heat dissipation. So on y-axis you have considered the temperature rise, and on y-axis that time, whatever the rise of your time, depending upon the time, the characteristics, the what are the characteristics done between the temperature rise and the time taken to raise the temperature. So at the initial, it is in the zero position. So at the time of starting, the heat is going to be very high. So keep on gradually on passing of time, it is going to be decrease, and at some point it is going to be the steady. So this is the your T heating time constant, that is nothing but theta m into 1 minus e power minus T by tau or TH. So you can study this characteristics, that is nothing but TH, how it is going to be happen. So these are the some calculations based upon the previous things. So when you have considered the physical significances, some like maximum temperature and this heating time constant, there has been explained some of the steps. When the heating time constant is considered to be an infinity, that is nothing but when the motor reaches to the final position, the temperature rise reaches the final position, but when it reaches, the first thing is we have to decrease the temperature rise. But for example, if you have not done, then what will happen? If you keep on running the motor at the maximum rise of your temperature, then the motor is going to be shut down due to the heavy rise in temperature. The windings are going to be burned out, or you are going to be having a short circuit in the motor, and the motor is going to be stopped. So for that condition, he has taken as he has derived here itself. So when the heating time constant is infinity, that is nothing but the motor is going to be run continuously for the long time. That depends upon the loading conditions. So then what will happen? Whatever the heating time constant at the infinity point, the temperature also at the is going to be infinity. So that is equals to the maximum steady state temperature. So by taking this T value, whatever the final value theta is equal to theta m into 1 minus e power minus T by tau. So by substituting all these terms and at these conditions, loading conditions, so we are going to calculate the T with respect to maximum temperature, that is 0.632 m, 632 theta m. So this is the condition you are going to calculate at the practical side, not in general side, not in the study side. So practical loading condition, so the temperature or the heating time constant is 0.632 times the maximum temperature. So from the time constant here, from the time constant curve, he has calculated this alpha depending upon the maximum temperature rise. So if you calculate the heating time constant curve, so nothing but if you consider tan alpha from this curve, please say tan alpha is equal to, what is the tan theta? Opposite by adjacent. So theta m by what is the time taken? So that is the thing we have written here itself. Tan alpha is equal to theta m by heating time constant. So now you have to calculate that heating time constant from this curve. Therefore, T is equal to theta m by tan alpha. Theta m is nothing but mn. Pn. Sorry. This is the point. So raise this means up to this point, the value is going to be raised. So that's why he has considered this point Pn. Pn. So by keeping this tan alpha means tan alpha Pn by Mn. This Pn by tan alpha is equal to Pn by Mn. Pn by Mn. That is nothing but tan alpha from the characteristic curve. So by placing this tan alpha value here, you can calculate the heating time constant. So here at the point, it says heating time constant is going to be equal to the line segment, that is maximum temperature and the steady conditions. So we will see the characteristics, how it is going to be happen for the different loading conditions. Yeah, see.
All systems.
So please check this for the equation theta. Theta is equal to 0.632 theta m. That is nothing but sorry, the heating time constant. The temperature rise is going to be 0.632 into theta m. So the same thing we have placed in the curve. That is on y-axis we have taken the temperature rise theta, and on x-axis we have considered this time t. So this is the S 232. So please have your question on your chat box. Sir Ranjit sir, please check himself. Someone has raised the hand.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the some of the temperature rise between the temperature and the time. So these are the different variations in your the heating curves. So depending upon the loading conditions. So when the load is going to be increase, when the load is going to be increase, the temperature is going to be increase. Okay, at certain point, the temperature rise is going to be constant. So for different loading conditions, this L1, L2, L3 at initial L0, that depending upon the time, the temperature is going to be raised. So for this equation, we have shown in the curve. So this is the at this point, you are going to have the maximum value of your temperature heating constant, heating time constant here at this point. That is nothing but 0.632 times of your final temperature, maximum temperature, right? Gives your heating time constant. Heating time constant. Okay. Now we will see the cooling curves, cooling of your motor. So earlier I have said each and every motor should have some coolant to cool your temperature while in the running conditions or in the loading conditions. So here also some of the assumptions we have taken. So here also we are going to consider when the motor is on off position or is on the on position. So see, let us see what he has considered here. First assumption is if the supply of the motor is switched off. Yes. After having your work, you have switched off the motor. Then what will happen? The motor starts cooling. The motor starts cooling. Why? Because there is no any running system in your motor. So the motor is not rotating. The power, the current or the voltage is not producing to the machine. So there are no any losses going to be occur in your motor. So by absence of all these things, the motor is going to start its cooling purpose. So when the motor is switched off, the first thing is happened is the heat, no any heat is going to be produced or generated. So that's why here the heat generated in the temperature curve in the first rating of the motor, you have seen one equation, one formula, that is rate of heat generated of the motor is equals to heat produced plus heat dissipated. So here whatever the heat produced here is going to be zero. While because we have switched off your motor, then the motor is going to start cooling. So that's why here you have considered Q into dt is equals to 0. So by placing this value in your equation, so I will show the equation once again, then you will, yes, here it is. Rate of heat generation in motor is equals to rate of heat dissipation from cooling medium and rate of heat absorption by the motor. So these, from this equation, now when the supply is switched off, what will happen? The rate of heat generation in the motor is going to be 0. This is the same thing here we have written this equation. By placing in a 0, we are going to return writing the equation this one. Here we have changed. Here what we have considered, the term lambda, the rate of heat dissipation from cooling surface. So now here we are going to change, just for our identification, the lambda is going to be changed by lambda dash. Lambda dash. That is, this lambda dash represents your cooling effect. Cooling effect. So from this equation, we are going to calculate same dt in terms of d theta. From this, you are going to calculate the t value, and from this t value, by plugging an integration, you are going to calculate the theta value. Same as the steps what you have done during the heating curve. The same steps you are going to follow here also for the cooling curve. So see, here finally the cooling temperature theta is considered as maximum temperature into exponential of negative T by tau. But earlier we got at the heating curve theta is equal, we have calculated theta as theta m into 1 minus e power minus T by tau. So these are the two different things happens. This is for heating curve. This is the cooling curve. So here, whatever the tau dash, here tau dash, sorry, we have written T by tau dash. Please correct it, sir. Correct yourself. Tau dash. This tau dash is taken as cooling time constant. There we have taken tau or tau h as a heating time constant. Here tau dash is nothing but a cooling time constant of your motor. So how it has taken the characteristics as shown in your figure. So here, there you have taken at the initial time t is equal to 0, but here at the when the supply is switched off, the time period is taken as cooling time is going to be equal to the cooling time. So when you place this t value in this equation, t is equal to theta is equal to theta m into e power minus t by tau c. So here you are going to get the final temperature. E power minus 1 value is J, that is nothing but we can written as E 1 by E. The value is 0.368. So the final cooling temperature of your motor when the supply is switched off is 0.36 times 368 times of theta F final temperature. So at the cooling time, at the tau c, you are going to get the maximum temperature decrease. So this is the curve happen. At the initial point, you are going to have the temperature rise. Why? Because at the time of at the end of, sorry, not the time of, at the end of your work done, the same heat is going to be maintained at the time of your switching off. At the time of switch off, the temperature is high. So by pass on the time, the temperature is going to be decrease. The temperature is going to be decrease. So at this point, that is nothing but at the 0.368 times of your final temperature, you are going to get your cooling time constant. So by this curve, you can calculate the cooling time constant. So here some the words I have defined. You can understand what is in a cooling time constant also. The cooling time constant is defined as the time required cooling the machine down to 36.8% of its initial temperature rise above the ambient temperature. So please note down this. This cooling time constant can be defined as the time period which is required for the motor to be cooled down with comparative to the initial temperature. So that is making 36.8% of your initial temperature above the ambient temperature. So these are the curves, both heating curves and cooling curves. These two are the heating curves, and this is a cooling curve. So this is going to follow the exponential laws. So I will provide the material and this PPT also I will share. So if you have any queries regarding our lecture, today's class, please have your questions in our chat box